Elden Ring is a game that brings everything together in one massive, beautifully crafted experience. Imagine a world that feels alive, packed with secrets, epic landscapes, and a sense of adventure that makes you want to explore every nook and cranny. It's one of those games that pulls you in and doesn't let go, leaving you eager to see what's over the next hill or behind that eerie door. One of the coolest things about this game is the freedom it gives you. The open world is huge, like really huge, and it's all yours to explore. No hand-holding here, just you, your character, and a world full of surprises. You can tackle things however you want. Want to head straight for the main quest? Go for it. Prefer to take your time, discovering hidden caves, battling bosses, and finding new gear. That's an option too. It's all about creating your own journey. And then, there's the combat. Oh boy, it's tough, but in the best way possible. Every fight feels meaningful, and it really makes you think about your next move. Whether you're swinging swords, shooting arrows, or casting powerful magic, you've got to time things right and stay on your toes. The challenge is there, but that's what makes the victories feel so satisfying. It's a dance of strategy, patience, and a bit of skill, and it's what keeps you coming back for more. Customization is another win. You can really make your character your own. Doom 4. If you're a fan of fast-paced action, brutal combat, and some of the most fun gameplay around, this one is a must-check out. Right from the start, it's clear that the game knows exactly what it wants to be. It's all about the fight, and nothing gets in the way of that. You're constantly on the move, dodging enemies, firing off your arsenal, and figuring out how to make those epic glory kills. There's no time to waste in this one, and that's what makes it so exciting. One thing that stands out here is how they've embraced the chaos. You're not hiding behind cover, slowly regenerating health, or worrying about ammo. This is about running into the fray and kicking some serious demon butt. It's fast, relentless, and honestly a ton of fun. You'll find yourself weaving between enemies, taking out groups with the most creative combinations of weapons. And the best part? There's always a new weapon or tool to keep things fresh. Whether it's the iconic shotgun or the powerful BFG, the game makes sure you never get bored with your loadout. The combat flows so smoothly, it almost feels like an extension of your reflexes. From the fluid movement to the satisfying impact of each shot, every encounter feels like a mini adrenaline rush. And then there's the glory kill mechanic, where you can execute enemies in the most satisfying ways when they're weak. It's a brutal system that rewards you with health pickups, keeping the action going and ensuring you never slow down. But what really makes this game shine is how it gives you freedom within that action. Cyberpunk 2077 is an absolute whirlwind of a game. Picture this, you're in a neon-lit, futuristic city where the line between human and machine is so blurry, you might as well throw a wrench in it and call it a day. The city, full of chaos and endless possibilities, is the perfect playground for a game that's all about choices, freedom, and crazy combat. Right from the start, you're dropped into a sprawling world that's alive with activity. There's always something happening, from high-speed chases to shady deals, and everything feels packed with detail. Whether you're walking down the street or zipping through the city in a slick car, it's a world that keeps pulling you in. But what really stands out is how the game gives you the freedom to approach situations however you want. Want to sneak through a mission, hacking everything in your path? Go for it. Feel like going in all guns blazing? You can totally do that too. The beauty of it all is how customizable your approach is, with each playthrough feeling a bit different based on the decisions you make. The combat? Oh, it's intense. Whether you're engaging in tight gunfights or using cool cybernetic powers, there's no shortage of ways to take down enemies. Each weapon and piece of tech you get your hands on has its own little flair, and there's something satisfying about mixing and matching your gear to find what works best for you. You can even get into hacking. There's a real sense of power when you can shut down security systems or take control of enemy tech from a distance. Dead Space Remake. This one doesn't just wake up an old classic, it reanimates it with a new level of confidence. Every corner of the ship feels like it's out to mess with your nerves, and the tension just keeps on building. Not in an overwhelming way, but more like a steady beat that keeps you alert. And the best part? The gameplay doesn't lean too hard on nostalgia. It's smart, sharp, and reworked in a way that just makes sense today. Combat is the real star here. It's not about spraying bullets and hoping for the best. It's all about precision, reading the enemy, and reacting with the right tools. There's a genuine satisfaction in how every encounter plays out. That classic limb targeting mechanic really forces you to think in the moment. It's not flashy, it's focused, gritty, and really effective. The weapons have this cool versatility to them, and with the upgrade paths added in, there's a real sense of growth as you push forward. One of the most welcome additions is the freedom of movement in zero gravity. It's fluid, it's slick, and it opens up parts of the game in fresh, exciting ways. There's more control, more verticality, and it leads to some really memorable sequences. It's one of those things that sounds small on paper, but makes a huge difference once you get into it. What really takes the game up a notch is the way it stays unpredictable. It's not just the jump scares, it's the unpredictability in how it plays with expectations. Demon's Souls is a game that does not mess around. If you're looking for a game that tests your patience, your reflexes, and your willingness to face the toughest of challenges head-on, then this is it. From the moment you start, the game throws you into a world where every step, every corner, and every enemy can be your last. But here's the catch. It's also ridiculously rewarding when you finally conquer that impossible boss or survive a particularly nasty encounter. The combat system is where the game really shines. It's smooth, tight, and feels so satisfying. So every sword swing, every shield block, and every well-timed dodge has weight to it. You can feel the difference between the beginner's mistakes and the moments where you mastered the art of defense and counterattack. Getting the hang of parrying and blocking is key to survival, and once you nail it, the game becomes a whole new experience. It's all about learning, adapting, and improving your skills as you go. The world is a harsh one. You're constantly up against a variety of dangerous enemies, each with their own tricks and surprises. The challenge level is high, but that's what makes every victory feel so sweet. The game gives you little room for error, and that's exactly why it hooks you. It's like a puzzle that only rewards persistence, but when you get it right, it feels like a huge win. While the game can be unforgiving, there's something incredibly satisfying about making progress. Atomic Heart takes you on an adventure like no other. Imagine a world where the USSR has unlocked some pretty crazy tech and you get thrown right into the middle of it. Robots that were once your helpful companions, now they're running wild, and that's just the beginning. You'll be exploring vast, eerie facilities and battling through some seriously wild and unpredictable enemies. What makes this game stand out is how it mixes up your typical first-person shooter with these mind-bending powers you can control. Enter the Polymer Glove, which gives you abilities like telekinesis, electricity, and ice manipulation. It's like they combined the most thrilling parts of an action movie and gave you the power to use it in creative ways. Want to toss an enemy around like a rag doll? You've got it. Need to freeze something in place and blow it up? Easy. It's that kind of gameplay that makes every combat encounter feel fresh. But it's not all about blowing stuff up. There's a surprising amount of depth when it comes to crafting and gathering resources. Scavenging through the environment to find materials so you can upgrade your weapons or make new gadgets is a huge part of the experience. It keeps you on your toes because, honestly, you never know when you'll run out of ammo or need that extra healing item. And speaking of weapons, there's an insane variety. Whether you're using a good old-fashioned shotgun, a weirdly modified rifle, or just picking up whatever tool you find lying around, it all feels satisfying to use. Chivalry 2 brings all the chaos and fun of medieval battles to life in a way that's both hilarious and intense. Imagine charging into battle with swords clashing, arrows flying, and the sounds of war all around you. This game absolutely nails that sense of epic scale. There's a real sense of control over your combat style. Whether you're swinging a big old battle axe or picking off enemies from afar with a crossbow. The combat system is pretty straightforward to pick up, but there's a lot of depth once you get into the rhythm of it. It's all about timing and precision. Whether you're delivering a crushing blow or blocking an attack, every move feels satisfying. One of the coolest things is how you can use the environment to your advantage, like throwing a barrel or even a chicken at an enemy when things get too intense. The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes the game so fun. It's a blend of strategic fighting and pure chaos that somehow always feels balanced. The game doesn't stop at just being a full-throttle, sword-swinging action fest. It also brings a lot of personality to the table. While the battles are intense, there's a lot of humor baked in. For example, Brawl Mode lets you pick up all kinds of random objects, fish, chairs, turkey legs, and turn them into makeshift weapons. It's the kind of silliness that helps keep the vibe fresh, especially when you're just trying to survive a giant melee and end up swinging a giant loaf of bread at someone. Devil May Cry 5 is an absolute blast. If you're a fan of fast-paced action, this game just might be the perfect fit. It brings everything you love about stylish, over-the-top combat and cranks it up to 11. From the moment you start, you're jumping straight into a world full of insane battles, jaw-dropping combos, and a crazy amount of fun. The first thing you'll notice is the combat. It's deep, it's fluid, and it's so satisfying. Each character you control brings something unique to the table. Nero's got his Red Queen sword and his Devil Breakers, mechanical arms that let you pull off all sorts of crazy moves. Dante, on the other hand, brings a whole arsenal of weapons and the ability to switch between them on the fly, which makes for some seriously dynamic fighting. And then there's V, who controls demons to fight for him, which is a completely different vibe. Switching between all these characters keeps the action fresh and exciting. Every fight feels like a chance to get a higher score, see how stylish you can get with your combos, and just have fun pulling off crazy moves. One of the coolest things is how the game rewards you for being creative with your combos. If you're someone who loves to experiment and try new moves, this is the game for you. You can chain together attacks and moves in ways that feel smooth and satisfying. And the best part? You're constantly encouraged to keep upping your game and getting those high-style rankings. It's all about making each battle feel like a performance. Dying Light 2. Running, climbing, jumping, and vaulting over just about anything has never felt more fun than it does here. The way the whole world is built practically begs you to stay on the move, and the freedom to explore every rooftop, ledge, and crumbling balcony turns even the smallest trip across town into a mini-adventure. The movement system is smooth, sharp, and incredibly satisfying, and it's one of those things that just gets better the more you mess around with it. Every little piece of the city feels like it's been dropped into place to create a playground for creative movement. Whether it's sprinting across rooftops or gliding over streets with a paraglider, the choices stack up fast, and there's always another path waiting to be found. And the best part is how natural it all feels, like the environment is encouraging you to bend the rules and carve your own route through the chaos. When it's time to throw down, the combat has that same snappy, reactive feeling. Swinging weapons around isn't just about brute force, it's about timing, spacing, and knowing when to block or dodge. Every encounter keeps you on your toes, especially when you're outnumbered or low on gear. Nothing beats the moment when a fight gets messy, but the right move turns the whole thing around. What really keeps everything exciting is how the world changes depending on the time of day. Fallout 4 is a game where you're just thrown into a world that's completely fallen apart, and it's up to you to make your own way through it. The game is like a giant playground filled with danger, mystery, and let's face it, a whole lot of junk to collect. You can spend hours just wandering around, exploring old buildings, picking up scrap to build something new, or finding new settlements to create a little piece of safety in the wasteland. And that's one of the coolest things about this game, how you can take a pile of junk and turn it into something useful, like crafting a powerful gun or even building your own house. It's all about getting creative with the resources around you. What makes the gameplay stand out is how much freedom it gives you. You're not just following a straight line from one mission to the next, you're in a world that's packed with side quests, hidden locations, and random encounters that you can stumble upon whenever. Want to help some settlers rebuild? You can do that. Feel like clearing out an old military base filled with raiders? Yep, that's totally your call. The best part? You don't need to do anything in a particular order. Just follow what catches your attention. Then, there's the combat. It's a nice blend of real-time action and strategic thinking. You can just go in guns blazing or use the tactical Vault-Tec assisted targeting system, VATS, to slow down time and target weak spots on enemies. It makes the combat feel fresh, and it's fun to mix up how you approach different situations. Far Cry 5 takes you straight into the heart of a sprawling open world. And let's be honest, it's the perfect place to get lost in. The whole vibe is about chaos, freedom, and just doing things your way. You'll find yourself in Hope County, Montana, where you get to go wild in a world that's ripe for exploration, filled with opportunities for combat, adventure, and a fair share of mayhem. One of the most exciting parts is the freedom. You can jump into whatever action you want, whenever you want. No strict order of missions, no linear paths, just a massive world to explore and conquer. From driving around in muscle cars to soaring through the skies and plains, everything feels like it's in your hands. And you're never really alone in this journey. You've got your own little squad of guns for hire, these NPCs who join you for the ride, adding an extra layer of fun to the game. Whether it's a sniper or a heavy hitter, having these allies around helps you take down foes and explore the world with a little backup. Speaking of backup, there's this awesome animal companion system. Forget just being human in this world. You can recruit animals like Boomer, a loyal dog, or even Cheeseburger the bear. They're not just cute sidekicks either. They're tough, and they help in combat. It's like your own personal zoo that gets the job done. Who wouldn't want a bear charging into battle, right? The gameplay itself keeps things fresh. Final Fantasy VII. Rebirth picks up where the previous chapter left off, bringing players back into a vast world filled with adventure, danger, and a cast of characters who've become legends in the gaming world. From the get-go, it's clear this game is packed with excitement and fresh gameplay that keeps everything feeling dynamic. The combat in this installment is a blast. You've got that real-time action that keeps you on your toes, but with the added bonus of being able to switch between characters mid-fight. Whether you're hacking away with Cloud's sword or casting magic with Aerith, every battle feels like a full-on spectacle. The addition of synergistic moves between your party members adds a nice touch of strategy, turning even the smallest skirmish into something fun to plan for. It's a system that feels fresh, but still keeps that familiar vibe from the original game. You'll find yourself figuring out how to mix up attacks, adding that extra layer of depth. And speaking of layers, the world is massive. Forget linear paths, this is an open world where you can roam and explore at your own pace. From quaint villages to epic landscapes, there's always something to discover. Whether it's side quests or mini-games like the card game Queen's Blood, the world is just brimming with little details to keep you occupied. It's one of those games where you're as likely to get distracted by the world as you are to stick to the main story. Character development shines in this one, with the gang getting even more depth. Forza Horizon 5 is all about speed, freedom, and pure fun. Set in a vibrant, sprawling, open world that's a massive playground for any car enthusiast, it's a game that lets you lose yourself in high-octane adventures. Forget about just racing. This is about exploring, taking on challenges, and just having a blast behind the wheel. The whole experience feels like an endless summer road trip through diverse landscapes, from beaches to deserts and even towering mountains. You can hop into over 850 different cars, each customizable to your heart's content. Whether you're upgrading your ride for speed or giving it a unique look, there's a ton of freedom to make your car truly yours. The best part is the game constantly throws new things your way. From races to mini-games and creative custom events made by players, there's always something new around the corner to keep you hooked. The dynamic weather system is something that really sets the game apart. You can race through intense rain in one area, and a few miles down the road, you're driving under the scorching sun. That's not even to mention the seasonal changes that keep the world feeling alive and constantly changing. It's the kind of detail that keeps things fresh, no matter how many hours you've already put in. But it's not all about racing. There's Horizon Arcade and Event Lab to spice things up. Ghost Recon Wildlands drops you right into a vast open world that's ready for you to explore. And I mean explore. This game takes place in Bolivia, where you'll be tackling missions across jungles, mountains, deserts, and cities, all in an attempt to take down the Santa Blanca cartel. The map is huge, and there's just so much to see and do. You can drive, fly, and even swim your way around, making each mission feel a bit like a mini adventure of its own. The gameplay is all about tactics, but in a way that lets you get creative with how you approach situations. You can go in guns blazing, or you can take your time, sneak around, and plan each move. There's a lot of freedom in how you want to tackle things. It's not just about shooting everything in sight. It's about choosing the right moments to strike, when to lay low, and how to work with your team for maximum impact. Speaking of the team, the game lets you go solo, but it really shines when you team up with others. You can play co-op with up to 4 players, which turns every mission into a tactical operation. You and your squad can plan your moves, coordinate attacks, or just mess around and see what happens. The game definitely pushes you to think about how you're going to work with your team, whether you're sneaking past enemies or taking out a base together. Customization is also a huge part of the experience. From weapons to gadgets to your character's skills, there's a ton of ways to make your loadout your own. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. It's not your usual action-adventure game. It's a different vibe entirely. It's got that intense, gripping feel where you're always on the edge of your seat. The whole experience really pulls you in, especially with the way it mixes combat and puzzle solving. The puzzles are interesting because they don't just make you think, they make you look at things differently. You're not just moving through levels, you're figuring out how things fit together. It's kind of like solving visual riddles, which is honestly super satisfying when you get them right. It's all tied into the journey, so you're always learning more about the world, even as you're just walking through it. Combat is pretty fun, but also has that layer of tension to it. You're always in a back and forth, trying to dodge, block, or land that perfect hit. It's not about mindless button mashing, though. It's about timing and reading the room. It keeps things fresh and engaging, especially when the enemies start to mix things up. You feel like you're really in the fight, trying to get through it and move on to the next challenge. What's cool about this is the emotional ride. You're not just playing a game, you're really living it out. There's no typical level up and move on kind of thing going on here. Every step feels meaningful, like you're working towards something bigger, and it keeps you hooked throughout. Now let's talk about the gameplay loop. It's not super long, which works really well here. It's tight and doesn't overstay its welcome. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle really knows how to make adventure feel like the main event. There's just something so satisfying about slipping on the boots of a character who doesn't need superpowers or fancy tech to handle trouble. Just a whip, some sharp instincts, and a knack for getting into situations that escalate faster than you can blink. The game really hits that sweet spot between old-school action charm and modern-day polish, with every corner of its world begging to be explored and every encounter nudging you to think on your feet. There's a special kind of fun in juggling stealth one moment and throwing down the next, especially when every situation seems to have a couple of different ways to handle it. The way everything flows makes it so easy to lose track of time because there's always something interesting pulling you forward. The whip isn't just for flair either, it's one of those tools that constantly surprises with how much it can actually do, whether it's in the middle of a fight or when you're trying to figure out how to cross a tricky gap or trigger something clever. Little details like that keep things lively without the game ever feeling repetitive or predictable. One of the best parts is how the environments themselves feel like puzzles just waiting for the right approach. You don't need to be a master code breaker, but the way the game encourages observation and curiosity makes every solved puzzle feel pretty rewarding. It never leans too hard on hand-holding, which only adds to the feeling of being dropped into the middle of a real adventure. It Takes Two. This one is all about pure co-op magic, the kind of game that reminds you why playing with someone else can be so much fun. Every part of it is built around 2 players working together, and the way it pulls that off is nothing short of brilliant. One second you're pulling off a clever puzzle, the next you're flying, sliding, fighting, or goofing around in some wild, unexpected way. It never sticks to one idea for too long, and that's what makes the whole thing feel so fresh from start to finish. What's really cool is how smooth everything flows. One moment you're getting the hang of a new ability, the next you're combining it with your partners in ways that make you feel like the two of you just pulled off something way smarter than you expected. It never tries to overwhelm, but it definitely knows how to keep both players engaged without either side feeling left behind. The game loves variety, and it shows. No 2 levels are really the same, and the mechanics always match the situation in fun and sometimes ridiculous ways. Whether you're leaping around or using some quirky new gadget, there's always something clever happening in the design. It really leans into creativity without making things complicated, which keeps everything fun and light. One of the best parts is how much it encourages teamwork without making it stressful. Every challenge is built around communication, timing, and a bit of shared thinking, but the game never punishes mistakes too hard. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Life as a Viking really knows how to keep the blood pumping. One moment you're charging headfirst into a fortress, the next you're upgrading your settlement, planning new raids, or just soaking up the rugged charm of medieval England. There's this great balance between chaotic action and slower moments that makes everything feel rewarding, whether you're sharpening your weapons or expanding your clan's home base. The freedom in how to approach every fight is what makes the whole thing shine. Charging into battle with 2 axes feels just as satisfying as sneaking through enemy camps, taking your time to pick the perfect moment to strike. Switching styles on the fly keeps every encounter fresh, and the skill tree is packed with plenty of ways to shape your Viking however you like. Being able to dual wield nearly anything, even 2 shields, makes experimentation worth every second. There's always something fun waiting just around the corner, whether it's a raid that turns into an all-out brawl or one of those side activities that totally distracts from the main objective. The world really knows how to tempt you off the beaten path, and those distractions are never wasted time. Even flighting, which sounds simple enough, turns out to be a weirdly entertaining way to test your wit while giving your Viking a bit more personality. The settlement system is where everything ties together. Building it up isn't just about new buildings. It's about making your little slice of England feel more alive. Kingdom Come Deliverance. This one goes all in on realism and somehow makes that feel like a fresh take on the open-world RPG formula. It doesn't throw spells or dragons at you. It hands you a sword and says, "Good luck, try not to bleed out." And it works. Everything from the way you fight to how you dress, and even how much you've eaten, plays into the experience. It's not trying to impress with flash, it's aiming to pull you into a place where the rules feel grounded. The combat system stands out right away. It's slower and more deliberate, like a duel rather than an action movie. You can't just button mash and expect results. Timing, angles, positioning, suddenly every fight feels like a little puzzle. And it's not just one-on-one either. You can find yourself in full-on battles, and staying alive means thinking on your feet. Or just running. Running works too. Then there's the attention to detail. You've got layers of clothing and armor that actually matter. Food spoils. People remember your actions. Show up somewhere covered in blood, and folks will react. Forget to sleep or eat, and you'll start to feel it. It's all part of this bigger system that's quietly working in the background to make the whole thing feel alive. What really clicks is how open it all feels. You've got this sprawling medieval world full of castles, villages, shady taverns, and wide open forests. You can train, hunt, learn alchemy. Horizon Zero Dawn is like stepping into a world where nature and futuristic tech just click. Picture this, a vast, open world filled with towering mechanical creatures and lush landscapes, with Aloy as your fearless guide. You won't find any boring old robots here. These machines are like the apex predators of the future, each one with its own quirks, and you'll need to figure out how to deal with them. Some of these bots are big and bad, while others are sneaky and fast, so strategy becomes your best friend. As Aloy, you're not just hunting down these creatures though, let's be real, it's really fun to take them down with some precision archery. You'll also be exploring ancient ruins, collecting resources, and crafting some cool gear. Crafting is a huge part of this game. You'll be constantly on the lookout for materials to upgrade your weapons, build traps, or make sure you have the right ammo. It's all about thinking ahead, using your environment, and planning your next move. The combat system is one of those that feels simple enough for anyone to pick up, but deep enough to keep you on your toes. You'll quickly realize that blasting away doesn't always cut it. It's about learning your enemy, exploiting weaknesses, and using everything you've got at your disposal. Whether that's a well-placed trap, some explosive arrows, or just outsmarting the machines. The real fun comes from taking down a big machine that looks impossible at first, but with patience and strategy, you come out on top.